So today we're going to transform this sort of uninspired side deck into a beautiful outdoor living space. The homeowners can dine out here, entertain guests, or just chill out after work by themselves. Jim, take us through the features.
Well, we're going to do 4 little projects here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this vinyl siding and replace it with something that's practical and beautiful, being Western Red Cedar. We're going to run that soffit along, and then this wall here, which is currently vinyl and has been damaged by the heat of the barbecue, we're going to replace that with the same soffit material and run it down. The next project, we love our neighbors, but we don't like to look at them when we eat. So we're going to replace that with a privacy screen, that area. Then lastly, we're going to put a railing bar here. So this is something we've designed that just fits over a railing. It can be moved around and allows you to eat, drink, and be merry anywhere.
I like it. So what's the first step?
First step is to get rid of this vinyl.
Let's do it. So we removed all the vinyl. What's next?
Well, next is we're orientating the soffit this way, so we want backing. So the bottom cords of the trusses here, they'll provide backing, but against the walls, we're going to have to add some. Another thing too is we brought a bunch of soffit vent today, because you never want to include or create an enclosed space where heat can build up. But we've looked at this, and there's so much passive ventilation up there in the soffits, roof vents, that we're going to forego the ventilation. And we're looking for a really, really clean look, and we can achieve that without vents safely. We're going to do that.
Nice. Let's do it. One of the great things about Western Red Cedar is that it's pitch and resin free, which means it accepts and holds a wide range of finishes beautifully. Now the homeowners here have used a beautiful semi-transparent stain that really brings out the warm honey tones of the wood. Isn't that right, Jim?
Yeah, it sure does. And as per best practices, we've pre-stained all 6 sides of all the material we're going to use today. Now every time we make a cut, because cuts are inevitable, we're taking a little bit of the stain and touching up the exposed wood.
Okay, time to install. What do we need to know?
Well, there's a few things going on here. One, we're using tongue and groove material. So that's the starter board. We put a tongue out. That's the way you do this. Then what we're going to do is we're using stainless steel fasteners so they don't get any corrosion. We're also going to try and tonal these through the tongue. So you'll see where our nails are up there, but what we're trying to do is put in these nails so that when you slide the groove over the tongue of the next board, the nails aren't visible. And that's called blind nailing. That'll mean that 99% of this whole thing, you won't see the nails. You'll see them at the very end because we have to put the odd little nail in, but makes for a real clean look. The other issue here is you're only seeing about 3 inches of the board, the starter board. That's because we've done a mathematical calculation of this space, and we want the 2 ends to be more or less the same. We don't want to end up with a little sliver, 3/4 inch sliver over there. It wouldn't look very good, so that's what we've done there. So bang, you've got your starter board there, and we're ready to install.
So the soffit's all done. It looks great. Jim, what product did we use here?
We used an engineered product here, an engineered 1x6 with a veneer of vertical grain clear cedar. It's great. It was really nice to work with, and it's gone in really well.
We should note that engineered cedar is actually 100% real cedar. It's made up of smaller strips of cedar backed by a flat piece of cedar, so it's incredibly stable.
Now we're going to take the same product and we're going to go up this wall. We're going to start at the bottom with the tongue up, which is a good building practice, and work our way up, and then it'll look like a seamless transition down into that wall. So what we've done now is we put a layer of Tyvek house wrap over the original house wrap, which was compromised. We're not going to rain screen this wall, but you may want to check with your municipality or building department about what they require. This house doesn't have rain screen, and this area doesn't seem to want it, so we're not going to do it, but in your area that might not be the case.
The feature wall looks stunning, and now it's time for the privacy screen. Now this is a bit of an unusual space, so Jim, how are we going to approach this?
Well, you're right, it's unusual, so we're going to keep it really, really simple. That's a 2x4, so we're going to carry that around and make a frame of 2x4. We're not going to go right to the top because we want to keep it open. We want to still see the sky. Plus, if you cap it off like that, you can use it as a place to put a pot or a decorative item. Then, once we've done that, we're going to fill it in with 1x3 and 1x6.
Nice. And for this portion of the project, we're using a beautiful knotty grade of Western Red Cedar, which is going to really contrast beautifully with the crisp, clear cedar we have on the wall. Plus, it's going to add a lot of texture and warmth to the project, and it's cost effective.
You gotta like that.
Okay, so the frame is all done. We've installed a cap up here, as well as some stoppers. Jim, why do we do that?
We install the stoppers. They're 3/4 by 3/4 inch. It's like a fence. They make it easier to install the horizontal members. We're going to start installing 1x3s and 1x6 alternately from the top, using a 1-inch block to give our gaps. These, after we've done that, we'll install another stopper, which will hide all our fasteners, and also the joints on the end. So if they're not quite perfect, you'll never see them.
Ah, good tip. Okay, let's do it. Wow, love it. And you know what? Western Red Cedar doesn't just look great, but it's actually green. In fact, materials such as Western Red Cedar are far more environmentally friendly to manufacture than others. So it's a choice you can feel good about.
Absolutely.
Now let's get started on that bar.
You bet.
So we've got the bar top at the site where the homeowners want it. Now, in terms of installation, it can be quite site specific. Is that right, Jim?
It can. It's built to go over any railing. It's adaptable for that. We designed it to go over this particular top rail, but what we didn't anticipate when we were back in the shop is that this railing is out of level, so it's following the deck.
Right.
That's a pretty common application too, you're gonna find that. So what we're gonna do, the first thing we're gonna do is shim this level, because it's just a better situation if it's level. So there you see it's out. You see I cut a shim before.
Right. So it's level to the railing now.
Yeah, and it's hanging on the railing, so it's not going anywhere.
Right.
So now what we want to do is the legs are going to be different lengths, because of course this is level now, but the deck isn't. It's got lots of slope, which we like on a deck. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this like that. We're going to lift this up to level, and then we take a measurement here down to the deck.
Yeah.
We've already done it,
Yeah.
so I'll show you what's going to happen.
Both sides.
We've done it on both sides, exactly. So now we have the legs sitting here, measured specifically to, and they, one's an inch longer than the other one because of the slope of the deck.
And these are quite thick legs.
They're quite thick legs because here we're dealing with these clients are going to use it for sure a lot. There's a big wind factor here. They lose barbecues off the deck and everything, so we just want to make sure that everything's really solid.
Right.
And also the railing is a fairly light duty railing, light duty residential railing. So, we want to make sure that a lot of the weight is just going down through these legs. We're not going to screw it into the deck, obviously, because it's a waterproof surface, but this will do just fine. There we go. Okay, so on to the next one. Okay, so this, because we're against a post here, it's its own site. So we've cut a first post to go in here, just to kind of hold our other post off.
Right.
It'll become clear once we put it in. So that's the little post, and it's sitting on this skirt right here. It is perfect. You gotta like that. Okay. And that's enough to hold it. We're just gonna put this post in just for aesthetics, just to kind of make it look better. So it matches the other side.
It looks beautiful, Jim.
Oh, wonderful.
Another amazing job.
Yeah, it looks great.
So to recap, we just did the ceiling, a small feature wall, a small privacy screen and this beautiful bar, and you've turned it into an oasis.
There we go.
Just a small hit of cedar.
Yeah,
so far.
Exactly. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really contrasts well with this furniture.
Yeah,
Lovely.
the homeowners are going to love it.
Yeah,
It has really transformed their space.